morning, it's 9 o'clock, January 10, 2022, and our regular Commissioners Court meeting is now in session. First item on the agenda is roll call by our County Clerk, Mary Jane Bevaldo. Good morning, Mary Jane.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Judge Rathmo.
Present.
Commissioner Mendoza.
President.
Commissioner Elizondo.
President.
Commissioner Solis.
President.
And Commissioner Garza.
Present.
We have a quorum, Judge.
Thank you. The next item is our invocation by Dr. Roger Miller, Commissioners Court Chaplain. Dr. Miller.
Good morning, and I guess Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
If you bow your heads with me this morning as we begin our time together. Our Father, Creator of all, we gather this morning to participate in the important concerns of directing the lives and the futures of your people. May we all seek to see this new year as a time of challenges and yet as a time of opportunity. This court, our judge, commissioners, elected and appointed officials, come together this day seeking to make decisions which would benefit the greater good of the community. May they respond to your guidance as they evaluate each issue and condition presented to this court. May they also ask for and receive clarity when matters seem unclear, patience and tolerance when brevity is easier, wisdom and forgiveness when opposing opinions present themselves. And may you grant our leaders health and strength in body, mind, and spirit for the tasks that lie ahead. And may they be assured of your help in this time at hand. And in Christ's name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to
And
the
to the
republic
republic
for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4, Shannon, communications. I think you've had a busy couple of weeks.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning,
Commissioners. Good morning, Chief. We got a little bit of bad news. I finally got a hold of Spirit doing with the help of Monica, because I've been trying to get a hold of them since Friday. Through calls, texts, emails, no answer. Monica brought up the idea that we should call them from the business night here, and we did, and they finally answered. Unfortunately, they will not start today. The issue that they have is the same issue everybody's having now, the test kits. They have the team ready and trained, the kiosk is set, obviously we know that, but we do not have any test kits. But I told her, at least you should let us know so we know what's going on, because
Sure.
I have the agreement, it does the same, you guys have it, and on the agreement, it does say that they will begin January the 10th at 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we will shoot out something, just to let people know, because there is people already lined up. I mean, it's not our fault, it's not the court's fault. The agreement is here in my hand right now, and it says when we start at what time, which is today at 8 a.m. But yes, they did not let me know, and we finally got a hold of them, and they don't know when they will start. They'll let me know as soon as they have those test kits, and that's all they're missing right now.
I think we had a similar circumstance last week with
Yes.
one of our pharmacies that also was in line to have some tests.
Well,
available.
yes, Daniels.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're referring to Daniels.
Yes.
Okay, then I spoke to David from Daniels this morning again,
Uh-huh.
and he said the same thing. They're ready and everything, but they don't have any test kits. That whatever test kits they got allocated, everything went to the lab.
Sure.
Everything went to the
I
lab.
had similar information on that.
So he told me that by noon lunchtime today, he can have me an answer if they can start tomorrow or whenever they get some kits. But that's the main issue right now with these companies or whatever.
And there's quite a few that are interested in trying to come to our area and help out.
Yes.
But I guess they're all gonna have similar problems with the test.
We have, I think like two more on the agenda. I don't know what their status is as far as, having test kits on hand or not. I have no idea yet. But as far as the ones we've been dealing with, already set up and everything with the Daniels and Curative, they don't have no test kits.
And I think it is important that we vet, these agencies or entities
Yes.
that are coming, to our community to make sure that we, get the right test.
I agree, yeah, because at the end of the day, it's whatever's best for the community, and we need to make sure it's, approved, specifically by the state, and that the kits that are being used are non-expired, and that they're, currently active and in good standing. But the main issue right now is the testing, and we still having issues.
Chief, I already got off the phone with the easy testing people.
Okay.
And they said that they can be here tomorrow, that they have like over 50,000 tests. Maybe you can just check and make sure that they're legit and
Yes,
everything.
I can speak to him. I mean, that's up to the Commissioner's Court to approve. As soon as it gets approved, I can get a hold of the gentleman and see what tests they have to
That's
offer.
very good, yeah.
And we can take it from there.
Oh, yeah. There was, I guess, one of the local churches reached out to us last
Yes.
Friday, said they wanted, they had, I guess, one of those entities that would be able to test their congregation, and they did come down on Saturday. We did vet them
Yes.
and make sure that, and it is Vita Health is the agency that actually
That's
did
correct.
the testing.
Mhm.
I think, speaking with the pastor, or reaching out with the communicating with him, they did over 300 tests, so they did more than their congregation,
Yes.
which is good.
Mhm.
That agency is willing to come down every Saturday and even expand their services to the community, so I think, and I think they're doing a significant amount of testing in Laredo and surrounding
Yes.
areas. So, that, I mean, that's some good news, at least 300 plus tests were performed this weekend. Yeah, hopefully, it all comes down to the availability of tests. We've got all these agencies that want to, you know, I'm sure every community is experiencing this, they're wanting to come into our, to their community, so, it's a good thing. You know, we'll try to accommodate them and make more tests available to the public here in Zapata.
Yeah, I would suggest, Judge and Commissioners, the more we, as long as, you know, we go through their contracts, make sure that there is no fee to the community, because to my understanding, these companies are getting paid through the government, so they should not charge. They're not
Right,
supposed to be charging.
and that's very important,
But
yes.
we've heard, not here or in Laredo, but in other smaller communities, they're taking advantage and they are charging. So that's why we check them out, we make sure that they're not charging the community, because they're not supposed to, they're getting reimbursed at 100% from the government. But what I was gonna say is the more companies we can get out, the better, especially at the beginning, because since the demand is high, one company is not gonna hack it. We're gonna have, you know, a lot of people in line waiting. What we don't want is, also, we don't want people to be waiting 3-4 hours to get a test. That's what's happening in Laredo, even though they have multiple testing sites with different companies, they still experience that issue where there's people waiting in line for 2-3 hours. And I know that if we just do one company here in Zapata, at least at the beginning right now, we don't want that issue. So if we can get more people, the more the better. As long as they're, like we say, they're approved, they are approved by the state, and we check them out and everything's in line and in order, I don't see a problem.
Yes, very well. Yeah, because I think the latest, I guess, results from the state as far as the COVID cases, we've got over 100 active
Yes.
cases in our community, so that has increased substantially from, 2 weeks ago, I guess. So, yeah, it's, there is a need for testing.
There is a very high need for testing.
There's still, I mean, there's several clinics in town that
Yes.
testing, but there is a charge.
There is a charge.
Yes. So free
There's,
testing is.
our county clinic, Mary Plattner, and, Gateway.
Yeah.
Gateway, but the way.
And the
that-
pediatric clinics
And the
also.
pediatric clinics as well, yeah, they are testing the kids, you know, but it's a little bit different. You cannot just show up and get tested for peace of mind. You have to go through their process, they have.
All right, the symptoms. yeah.
Yes, you have to have the.
Chief, what
symptoms.
about the school? The school is testing on
Yes.
their own. Do those numbers reflect on the state's numbers?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yeah. It
And
depends
there
on-
is a delay.
Yes, I was
on
very
the
gonna say, that
reporting.
it depends on the backlog that the state has. Sometimes they'll report them that same day when they're supposed to, the positives, but sometimes we won't see those numbers till a week or 2 weeks later.
Okay, so my question, I guess, is, cause I got a lot of questions. We have 102 positives. The school is showing about 68, if I'm not
99.
mistaken.
90 some.
So-
90 some already, so
90 some.
are those included there?
Probably not yet.
Probably
Not
not
yet,
yet,
okay.
no. Probably those.
Because I got several
we won't see
questions.
They'll be increasing, yeah.
Probably we won't see those numbers till the following week.
Okay.
So you will see a slight bump in the positive cases in our county, because they do have a backlog as well. Yeah.
It's twice the amount.
So Chief, yeah, so EV testing, they'll be here tomorrow at 7, that's what the time that they gave me.
Okay.
But, I'll get together with you so we can make sure that they have what they need and that we comply with.
Okay, we can do that.
So we'll talk to them later.
Ready? As far as vaccines, that we have an abundance of vaccines still in the county, with DSHS, ourselves, CVS, the local clinics. And we're National Guard, we're still seeing a high number of people going to get vaccinated, which is a good thing.
Mainly for the booster or
Mainly
still?
for the booster, yes. We did this last 2 weeks, we did 246 vaccines from December 27 till, Friday. 80, first dose is 20, 8 second doses, 3 third doses, and 215 boosters. So the numbers have been steady as far as the boosters. We're having anywhere from 200 to 300 to 400 on a 2-week basis, but they're showing up in good numbers. we're still doing it on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you know, CVS, DSHS, and, National Guard.
Yeah, so there's plenty of outlets.
Oh, yeah, for vaccines, yes, and hopefully we can have the same thing for testing very soon. Hopefully we have plenty of outlets, because the demand is there for testing, but we're working on it, you know, every day and trying to get that done. But Daniels was telling me that smaller communities down from Laredo towards the valley, they're experiencing the same issue as well with the testing, the kits are not being available.
And so, and these testing kits, I know there's different types, so Curative was gonna have what type of test?
Curative, they told me that they were gonna have they're not gonna be the rapid, those are very hard to get a hold of right now, the rapid testing ones, the 15-minute ones.
So it'd be the 24 to.
Curative will be the 24 to 48 hours, 1 to 2 days, depending on how long it takes to send, or not to send them out to receive the results.
And the information that's gathered will be relayed back as far as the numbers back to you, or?
Yes, it will be relayed back to both myself and to the SHS Region 11, which the Dr. Wells.
And then the individual will get a call whether.
Yes,
Okay.
they, as far as Curative, they are gonna take care of reaching out to the individuals and giving them their results. Curative themselves will do that.
I think that's important that we
Yes.
make sure that, those steps.
And those are things that we check, Judge, whenever we have these companies coming in, we check, we try and make sure, first of all, that they don't charge, number one, two, what type of kits they're providing, if they're approved kits, and not expired kits, because a lot of these people, we've been hearing that they're using expired kits, so we need to check on that too. And we need to check as far as reporting back to the patient themselves, if they will report back to the patient, and to let them know they're negative or positive,
That's
and if they're
important.
reporting to the state as well, so the numbers can reflect on the dashboard.
Very well. Well, I guess we'll have further information, I guess, hopefully this week we can have I guess an enhanced testing in our area.
We're working on it, Judge.
And there's many companies that are interested, I guess we could probably set up throughout the county, different,
We have
set.
spaces available, and I want to ensure we can set up a couple.
So my question is, do they have to come in every time there's a different one coming and go through Commissioner's Court, or they're gonna be able to allow to come in and review?
I spoke to Chief Hurd and Chief Landine, which are the EMCs for City of Laredo and Webb County. They said that if, as far as that's how they're doing it, if they're gonna set up in a city property or county property, and you know, which is our deal, they have to go to Commissioner's Court or to City Council, depending, but our deal is Commissioner's Court. To get approval, the reason is to make sure everything that I just mentioned right now, that they're approved provider by the state. And we have to make sure of those, most of these people, almost all of them have their own insurance, liability insurance. But that's another thing, since they will be using our facilities or our property, that's why they have to go to Commissioner's Court to see if they have the proper insurance in case something goes wrong, to see if, to make sure, you know, that they're using the appropriate test kits, since we're approving them to, they're doing it on county property. So in case something goes wrong, you know, we're not liable as well. But my understanding is that that's the way it works, is they're gonna set up in county property. Now, if they're gonna set up in a private property, they do not have to go to Commissioner's Court, but it's.
I think you still have to vet them.
We still have to vet them, but on their behalf, they should know that they should still go through emergency management, because we need to make sure that they know how that they're reporting the proper way to the state.
Yeah, so I think they still have to go through your office, your
Yes.
department, Danny, so.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
And if it's on county property, of course, they need to,
They
they have to go by the court.
To the court, if it's on county property.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I see the sheriff walking in. Yesterday was National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, Sheriff, and I wanna make, honor and recognize all the law enforcement in our county and throughout the state and the nation for all the good work you do in protecting our community. So, congratulations, Sheriff. I just wanna acknowledge that yesterday was Law Enforcement Appreciation Day for.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Any other communications, Commissioners? See anything else that we need to go through? I think we went through the numbers.
Good.
Well,
I just would like to provide you copies of the jail revenue.
Yeah, that's fine.
Chief.
As you can see, Judge, since the month of October up to now in December, we're at $579,728, with including male and female. We did send off the IGA, and we're still in negotiation. I'm hoping we can,
I know you've been,
get to where we're at with that, and it'll help us
yeah,
tremendously.
raise the rate on the daily rate.
Yes.
Yeah, I think just looking at, and of course, Mr. Salinas on the treasury report, not gonna be here, he had a doctor's appointment, but just looking at the report, yeah, you're, well on your way to meet the goals and
Yeah.
surpass, what we budgeted, so, it's looking really good, Sheriff, as far as the jail revenue.
And, like I said, with the OLS, hopefully everything will fall into place, and then with the IGA, it'll be even better.
Yeah, we have, been working on that, and hopefully, I guess we've got some more conversations, scheduled for today on Operation Lone Star that, hopefully we can, realize, some tangible assets coming into our county, with that, grant.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chair.
We'll move on to public comments. Morning, Counselor.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
This section provides the public the opportunity to address the Commissioners Court on any items on the agenda. Any members of the public wish to address the court at this time? If not, we'll move on to item number 6, approval of invoices. We have invoices in your packet.
Motion to approve, Judge, it's $2,043,090.50.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza to approve, second by Commissioner Gatsa. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Approval of treasury report. As I mentioned, Mr. Salinas had a doctor's appointment today, won't be able to be with us.
Motion to approve, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza to approve the treasury report as presented, seconded by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. I think, just some of the highlights there on the revenues, as I mentioned, the jail, has, you know, 3 months into the budget. Jail has really brought in, according to the treasurer, and there might be a little, delay in the amounts, according to the jail has brought in $628,485.64. So that's for the 3 months, so you're, 31% of your budget, so you're above your budget at this time. So it's looking really good. It's certainly helped our overall bottom line. EMS has brought into the 3 months $120,884. Then we've got the landfill, $68,117, which is at 22% of the budgeted. We had some activity in the ARM ordinance. We had some new establishments being opened, and 180,000 came in for the month of December and November. And of course, these establishments were informed that the renewal period of July will apply to them. There is no prorating, so they will have to reestablish those permits in July, and they were good with it. Our sales tax seems to be right on budget, a little bit below $468,915 has come in for the 3 months, and we budgeted $2 million. So we're at 23.45, a little below budget, and the other funds seem to be in line, so I just want to touch on some of those highlights. We'll move on to number 8, approval of checks issued. We've had checks from 12/21/21 to 1/6/2022. Motion by Commissioner Gatsa to approve $2,043,090.54, seconded by Commissioner Solis. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Item number 9 is the tax assessor collector's departmental report. Morning, Ms. Mendoza. Morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Everyone.
been coming in. It's been good, with the Christmas vacations and the New Year's. It's, you know, it's coming in. So, for the month of December, our general fund collection had a total of $555,438. Interest and sinking, we had a total of $211,197.87. Farm to market, we had 21.19. Special road and bridge, we had $60,484.91. For a total of $837,927.42. In other collections, we had tax certificates, $4. Hotel motel tax, we had $33,593.94. Copies and faxes, we had 242.48. Voter registration list, we had $22. Interest earnings, $91.43. And tax sale, we had $100. Disbursement, we had $861,000 issued to the county. And delinquent attorneys, we had $10,473.58. I do want to mention that we did have that sale back in December. We sold 8 properties, or the attorney sold 8 properties for a total of $142,700.
So, on that hotel motel, I guess some of those that have not paid brought them money this
Yes,
time?
yeah, some of those are, you know, we have to call them and we have to.
So they came in at the end of the year, they bought them once it was good.
Yeah, so those did come in. I didn't mention that we did have a total year to date, it's $51,683.17. So, it's.
And we are, I guess, behind last year's
Yes,
percentage.
collection rate is at
6309?
6309.
And at this time last year, we were at 68 points, so 5 percentage points, which is substantial.
Yeah, but, like I said, we do have a lot of, our credit card, collections. We're waiting like about 4 or 5 days, because sometimes we do have issues, so we don't post it until it's cleared the bank. So once it's cleared the bank, then we'll go ahead and post it. But it's coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the action items, we will deliberate and consider action item number 10 is to approve the hiring of Guillermo Reyna, CPA, for professional accounting services. I have discussed this with our county auditor and our treasurer and our independent auditors. We met, I guess, last year, a few weeks ago, concerning how we could get the independent audit on a timely basis. Their recommendation to the court was to have someone who was capable of preparing the documents, all the financials for the county, as Mr. Flores used to prepare for us. You know, Mr. Salinas initially thought that some of the documents could be provided directly to the independent auditors, but that's not how the process operates, so we will have to have someone prepare those documents, those financials, and then present it to the independent auditor for their review. Mr. Gonzalez reached out to Starr County Auditor and was, you know, he was gracious enough to supply the name of a firm that is helping Starr County with their audit information. I did reach out to Mr. Reyna. He has a lot of experience in this municipal and governmental accounting. He says his firm would be willing to undertake this. It would not be something that would be out of reach for his firm, the distance, and he would be willing to undertake. We discussed the fees in your package, some of the fees and some of his, I guess, personal information there about his firm. He would be, his fees would be $125 an hour for the CPA and $50 an hour for the accountant. you know, Mr. Reyes said the account would, at the $50 rate would probably be the rate that would be charged most of the time, and that the account would probably, his account, his staff account would be able to prepare these documents and get them ready for the audit process. I told him about the urgency of making this information available to our independent auditors, not so we will not have any, I guess, negative impacts on any funding that may be coming to the county. So I think it's important that we find someone, approve someone to work for us. I think the contract, counselor, could be, you know, on a performance-based type contract, and certainly we could see if it's working or not working, and that's basically what we had with the other accountant that we had, consulting accountant. So
It would be considered a professional service contract, Judge. So
yeah.
based off that, obviously the court could be able to limit, of course, the number of years, and put certain stipulations in there the court deemed appropriate.
Yeah.
So we don't have a contract to review at this time?
No, we would have to,
Are they gonna be working in-house, Judge, or we're gonna be sending them the information?
both.
It's gonna be both. We're gonna try and send as much information, to them, and we'll be doing more of the entries, data entry instead of himself, so it'll be more that type.
And you'll have remote access to our system, or?
Which we do also have that, which Mr. Flores is to take advantage of that also, the remote access.
So, I mean, would it be appropriate to approve the hiring right now since we don't have a contract, or?
Well, assuming the court, because it is a professional service contract, that we're not required to go out to bids,
Right.
as is normally the case. So if the court deems this particular professional service individual as competent and someone you want to hire, then you can hire now, and then, of course, pending certain stipulations. But you would have to essentially approve the fee structure that he's provided as grounds for,
Right.
subsequent.
Yeah, we can hire him, we don't have to bid out for services.
Yeah, but we gonna hire for a year, 2 or 3 or what?
I think it'll be on performance.
It's gonna be on
The work
performance.
he performs, if he doesn't do the work.
Just a year.
Yeah.
We can limit it to 1 year, and then,
1 year.
with renewal dependent on the county's, agreement to.
Yeah.
Performance-based. I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Did you reach out to other?
I spoke with the CPAs, that do our audits, and in Laredo, they couldn't really, unfortunately, Mr. Flores was the one that would do, the surrounding counties. Webb County, they're big enough to where they do their own work. They hired our accountants, their CPAs. I reached out to other counties. I reached out to Stark County, and that was the most viable one, at this moment.
I think, in speaking with independent auditors, and I suggested to them, so is the county, are we gonna be hiring a consultant forever to help us prepare these documents? I think looking into the future, I think it'd be wise for the county to develop someone in staff, a staff accountant, that could learn to prepare these documents and not have to depend on outside professional services to do it. The bigger counties, that's what they do. They have their own staff accountants. Unfortunately, we don't, but I think it's something that the county should try to invest and look into the future and hire somebody local that would be interested in doing this type of work for the county for a good amount of time.
And another thing, Commissioner, with the untimely exit of Mr. Flores, we're kind of pressed for time for this one. So as the judge was saying, this is an annual thing, so if next year we find somebody else, we can do that. But right now, this was the best viable solution.
I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Guillermo Reyna for one.
Second motion.
Motion by Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Solis, and the rates will be the.
125 plus 55.
Not plus, and.
And 255.
Correct. Seconded by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Item number 11 is to approve security light on County Road, Park Street, and this would be in Proclamation State. Commissioner, I've been getting several calls from the residents there, and I know you used up your allotment already, the 10 lights, and I mentioned that to them. about a street light going down on Park Road, and I guess the pole would be Lakeshore Drive, on the hill going down in the turn as you enter into Park Lake States West. There is a security light, like a half a block up, and a security light half a block, I guess, south. They want an additional light, they're having trouble at night going down that steep incline and on that turn.
So as you get to the hill?
Yes, well, as you're going down the hill, right there, it'd be on the right. It'd be on Lakeshore Drive and Park Street. And I said, well, maybe the commissioner would wanna, I think we've done it in the past where we'll install a light and take it away from next year's, allotment.
We'll look into it, this afternoon, I'll send my, take a look at it.
Okay. So, you wanna approve it, or,
So what, you're taking away from next year's?
well, that's up to you, if you wanna,
Right, but you put it, so,
I mean, you wanna wait till next year to
yeah,
install it?
let's wait till next year, then we
Okay,
can
take
take
it
it
away
away
till
till
it, so no action
No
on,
action.
item 11. Item number 12 is to approve contract for COVID-19 testing between Zapata County and St. Jude's Laboratories LLC.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Garza. These are one of the entities that have reached out to the county as far as them setting up for testing. They did send an agreement. There is some land reserves, Mr. Figueroa, and I think
I
you were.
reviewed it, Judge, I haven't gotten a contract.
I know you were out, so,
Okay.
on Friday, and just reading through it, I'm not comfortable with several of the items there, so, I think we, like Danny said, we need to confirm that these tests are gonna be free to the community. I looked up, exactly where, they offer these services, they're in 5-6 states, but, I think we need to approve it with, Mr. Figueroa looking into and making sure that we vet them correctly. I still have some questions on whether, we should just approve them, wholeheartedly.
Judge, as we proceed through, we can recall this, Judge, I should be able to review it, it's a one-pager, Judge, so.
It's a one-page.
As a court,
What I had-
we can return to it, Judge?
Yeah, what I had problem was number 5.
Okay.
Bullet 5, and number 7, the indemnification. They wanted the county to indemnify them, and I don't think we should be doing that.
Okay. And what are the requiring from us, Judge? as
Just
far
a
as
site, a location for a site.
A location.
But I wanna make sure that this will be, free to the public, because in bullet 5, they're saying that, the laboratory will be able to directly bill to the payers and collect for services provided. And I said, well, this doesn't sound like it's free.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be like a charge to the insurance provider.
Yeah, so I just, we need to make sure that, these will be free tests.
I'll review it, Judge, we can recall it here in the next 5-10 minutes, Judge.
Okay, all right. Item number 13 is to address disruption, blockage of drainage on County Eastman on 1803 Ramadan. Commissioner Garza, I received, several calls on this. The neighbor has built up, and we've had problems like this throughout parts of the county, has built up his property that used to be a drainage area. So the water is collecting more than a foot high on Ramireño, and it's already damaged the street substantially.
I've been having this problem for the past 6 years.
I think the county has the ability to clear that right away and make sure that the water drains from the street.
And you can see it right here if you want.
Yeah, no, they showed me the pictures. Yeah, yeah, right, yeah. It has more than a foot of,
And, if you wanna go into private property, that's fine.
well, they block, we've had the problem in other parts of the county where they
Do
block.
we have a right of way on that?
We've got a
particular-
utility easement through there.
Okay, as long as we have a utility easement, we can clear it, so long as we have the right to maintain that area. If we do not, then it falls under private land, and we would then have to, declare it, via eminent domain, a natural thoroughfare, for water, drainage, and things like that. But if we have an easement, which the judge seems to believe we do.
I went out there,
Oh,
they called
you
me
have
to
it.
please go out there after last rain, they had a foot of water there. Been trying to reach out to the commissioner for a while, Commissioner, I know you've had that problem for a while, but So they reached out to me, so I went out there, and
As
we
long
do
as-
have a utility easement there.
As long as we have an easement, we can clear whatever debris, because the easement, that we have now, I guess it also depends on the type of easement, but as long as it's a utility easement, we can maintain.
There's a
anything.
sewer line going through there.
Okay, as long as we have, something in there, we can then proceed to, clear the area under the auspices of maintaining, the lines that we have going through.
There is a, yeah, the street is completely damaged, it's a brand new street, so the water does damage, those streets, so I think we need to address that issue. So,
And is the homeowner giving, problems to the?
well, I don't think he's gonna be in agreement to clear the land.
What's the extent of the improvements done on the right of way?
They basically brought in fill dirt and raised his lot to block the water from
Does he have
going
any
down.
permanent
And
structures on there?
No, just built up with soil.
Okay, well then if it's just soil, if it was a permanent structure, well, then we'd have some issues there because we'd have to, he still wouldn't have the right to build on it.
Yeah.
But if it's just soil and we have our utility easement, we don't even have to discuss it with them, we can just go in there and make.
I think we just need to clear it
Yeah,
and make sure
we
that
just go in
that
there
water
and
can
whatever changes
flow
it is.
naturally.
I talked to the owner.
Well, with him or her, whomever.
Yeah.
So you're gonna send your crew out there, Commissioner, or?
I need to talk to him first and tell him what is going on and what we're gonna do, and then I don't know if we need to get the paperwork to see if we have the drainage there or not.
So what do we need to approve here?
I don't know.
He just wants us to, well, I think as a county, the street is no doubt being damaged by the water being blocked from the natural drainage area. The neighboring land, adjacent homeowner is complaining, the one who complained, because there's a foot of water in front of his house, he can't get out of his car, and every time.
The thing is just too, you know, that he's right on the creek, that's the problem too.
Yeah,
That owner that you're talking about, he was right, it's just beside the creek, you know, he's in a very, very low place there.
yeah. The water's in the street, it's not in his house, but he can't get out of his house, and it is damaging the street, so we wanna leave water permanently, stagnating in the middle of the street for weeks on end, certainly is not a good idea on county property. So I think we need to
Just
address
have a
it.
rain, Judge, or is it
Any little rain,
any type of drainage?
Both streets are inclined, so the water pond is there.
Pools there?
Yeah, the pool.
And I have the same problem on Third and Ramadan, I have the same problem.
So it is damaging the county streets, so it's
Yeah.
damaging county property, and it is I guess could potentially in the summer be a health problem with water stagnating there, or,
Mosquitoes. and
Yeah.
whatnot. So, well, if it is damaging county property, obviously the court can take action, and because we already have a utility easement on there, action can be taken at no, real cost to Zapata County from the standpoint of having to infringe or seek eminent domain rights or anything like that, Judge. So, based on that, action can be taken, it's up to the court whether you choose to or not.
you wanna table this, Commissioner, and you wanna,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table.
you'll look into it?
Yeah.
Motion to table, is there a second? Motion and second, all those in favor, motion tabled. Item number 14 is to approve a collaboration with Easy Testing for COVID-19 testing.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Garza. I guess we'll go through the vetting process also. They are gonna be on county property, Commissioner Figueroa.
Judge, I have not been given a contract to this either, Judge, if there is.
There is no contract before us, so I don't know if we should demand a contract before we can approve.
Well, Judge, if they're gonna be using our, land, Judge, then we would need, well, one, that they have any type of liability insurance, because they are gonna be servicing people. Two, there's also the issue of what the requirements are they're gonna be demanding us about the county, whether it be electrical, whatever the case is.
I think from the letter, they are requesting electrical, so I think they should present to the county an agreement
Yes,
that we
yeah,
can.
they would have to.
So I'll go ahead and modify my motion that, Motion to approve pending clearance from legal.
Me too.
Okay.
So if they wanna come into private property, they can?
They're invited by an individual, they can, but if they want something from the county, then we have to, obviously, the court has to approve that, but they have to have certain, you know, I think requirements.
If they want to
protect
commit a
us.
private property, they will just have to verify with them and make sure that the tests are viable and that they're a legitimate outfit.
Yeah, well, that's another
That-
thing as well,
yeah.
that they are providing legitimate healthcare
Yeah,
services.
right.
you know.
That would be the process. They won't have to come to the county for a contract, but they'd have to, Danny would have to vet them.
So once they have the contract, do they come back to Commissioner's Court or just bring it to?
Just take it to the Superior, and once you approve.
Send it to the
then-
judge, and Roxy will send it to me, or whatever,
Yeah.
and I'll review it. and then-
It's just like with St. Jude, Mr. Fiola is gonna review it, so I think we need to go through that process and make sure that we're doing everything and protecting the county.
It's good that the county's looking into this, because I know I've been getting a lot of calls from individuals, where can we find tests? And I know, that the county had approved some at the last commissioner's court, to be able to get that, in there, but I think the spike, along with our shortage.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, the shortage of test kits. But, it looks like it's ramping up, so, yeah, we invite, all these companies to come in. So we will, approve, pending, contract and review of contract, by Mr. Figueroa. Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Tdhca. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Item number 15 is to award bid to Escamilla dealership for the 10 patrol cars, Sheriff.
Morning again, Commissioners. Judge.
Morning.
Yes, Judge, we've been getting quotes since the last, meeting we had, and based on the amount, it's, we're able to purchase on the amount that you provided to us, 11 instead of the 10.
Point 11 will be less,
Yes.
okay?
And, the thing is, we would be able to get them quicker and, at a better price. All the other dealerships, right now at a base price, you're talking about, if we were to get a turnkey.
Yeah, that's
It
good.
is, we're looking at about $800,000 difference. I mean,
So, but you got two other bids, or?
Yes.
Yeah, just so for the record.
From Gaffney.
They had four, Judge.
They have four, very
bids.
good. So that's all we need, Sheriff? No other-
okay.
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Garza to approve, second by Commissioner Solis. And how much is the amount for 11 vehicles?
It's, right at, we're at 46,825.
486.
No, that's the total.
Oh, the total amount? I think we were at 502,000.
502,000. Yeah, just so we can have it on record that,
Are we still on track to get these monies reimbursed for Operation Lone Star, Sheriff, or?
That's in the works about, between, the talks with the governor's office and the regional director.
We haven't received any funding at all from Operation Lone Star?
We received an initial 500,000 for operations. So that's for us to start off with the overtime and to properly secure the border.
Sheriff, did they give a timeline on when we will receive, word if we would be able to get a reimbursement for these cars?
we're gonna have a conversation this afternoon.
Oh,
We did
okay.
meet, with DPS
great.
supervisors, and of course, Mr. Figueroa was on the phone, and so we talked about, with Operation Lone Star, the need for advanced funding to the county to be able to fund, a lot of these initiatives, and not have to wait for reimbursements, because it will be difficult for the county to absorb those type of costs. So we're gonna visit again today, with the governor's office on exactly how much, the grant will be, the total.
Right.
What will it entail as far as equipment, what will be approved, as far as, on the judicial side, what the county attorney may need and what the courts may need and the clerks. So all of that is still, in negotiations, I guess, but we, will continue those discussions. Like the sheriff mentioned, they did get initial funding, for his department, But as far as the overall funding and the submittal of the entire grant, that is still in the works.
And that, Judge, Commissioners, it's initially for the counties that were right on the border, right on the Rio Grande, that was the.
Yes.
initial. Everybody got, a certain push, amount of funding, and we were allocated that amount.
I think there is a strong, I guess, commitment from the governor to secure these monies for these participating counties. We just want to see what exactly we're getting before
I
we.
think there's a high likelihood we'll get approved pretty much of everything we requested, Judge, just based off the fact that there's only 2 counties as of now that are fully participating. So the governor's gonna wanna have more counties participate. So I think because we are the 3rd county and what we're asking for is reasonable based off what it is they're asking us to do.
Yes.
I think it will be, I think a large percentage of what is requested should be.
And of course, and this will also require, if the grant is approved and the county moves forward, there will also be a partnership between the landowners, DPS, the Sheriff's Department, Border Patrol, all the law enforcement agencies, and seeing how we can better secure our border. And hopefully with these enhanced measures, we'll have less illegal activity coming through our county, so.
For those that don't really understand what this isn't a step being taken by Zapata County to target immigrants coming in, because that's not what it is at all. What the initiative is that when individuals cross and they are on private lands held by a private individual, that private individual can choose to press charges on those individuals for being on the property illegally. So that's where the crime occurs. The crime isn't necessarily if they're here in the United States illegally, because that's an immigration issue. What's the criminal issue is the fact that they're here on someone else's land. So we have to have the private property owners come forth and say, look, I'm having this problem, we need, so if they're caught on their lands, they're then prosecuted as a misdemeanor for essentially trespass, criminal trespass. So, to clarify the.
That's the initiative.
That's the Cliff Notes version of what it is.
But certainly, in our conversations with the governor's office and the representatives, the county is, I guess, is wanting some tangible assets that as part of this initiative that we can.
To be able to facilitate this initiative, Judge, I mean, the sheriff's department needs the equipment to be able to do it. I mean,
Equipment, so the patrol cars is, yes, that's high on the list, and then certainly, we want a commitment that they certainly will be funded, on that, so yes, I think that's what was, what our first topic of conversation as
Right.
far as.
And, on a good note, coming from DPS and the governor's office, we are revamping the tower already that we're working on to communicate digitally with all law enforcement offices working in our county and around the surrounding area.
So I think potentially there may be some long-term benefits in infrastructure, in software technology coming to our county that will not have to be borne by taxpayers, local taxpayers.
And that's one of the main things I'm pushing for in my office, along with the judge and the clerks, that we're seeking to get the software that helps integrate all our offices together and help us move completely digital. If we do that, those types of software, years you wouldn't know, to run up about $150,000, so if we get this, it's at no burden to, specifically to the Zapata County taxpayers, but rather, by the whole state of Texas, so it's, I think it's, a lot of positives can possibly come to our local community for it.
And there's a sense of urgency, to wanting to do this, so I think, we have those conversations today, I guess, this
Yes, sir.
afternoon, reaching out to them and seeing.
And I will be, today with a meeting with the, I don't know what the acronym is, but essentially the people who designate the courts and all that, Judge, as far as the appointments and all that.
And that's another aspect of course, the criminal trespass charges, the misdemeanors. It's a county court issue. It involves, of course, it could involve the district court, but mainly the county clerk, district and county judge, of course, the prosecuting attorney is a county attorney. Those departments will see an increase in their workload, their employees, and we're asking for substantial compensation to those employees, deservedly so, for the life of the grant, which may be 2 years or 3, but it seems to be a 2-year funding cycle. And so that is also, we are certainly expressing our interest in making sure that our employees get their fair compensation. As far as county elected officials, no, there's nothing in the grant for elected officials.
Not for us.
But for the employees, yes, there'll be some substantial compensation for employees. So that is part of the request.
And just so the individuals can have a better understanding of the increase in the workload. Right now, we prosecute roughly about 2,000 cases a year here in misdemeanor court. By adding these individual cases, we could increase up to 5,000 additional cases, bumping up. And for a single county prosecutor, or for a single county judge, for a single county clerks and all that, so it's a big intensive increase in workload. So just so the constituency knows what the extent of this this operation entails.
Yeah, okay.
Sheriff, do you have an ETA on the vehicles?
Right now, the production is already backed up based on the chips and all that's going on. So it's ETA, I would say there might be one coming in this week, 2 next week, it's just a 20.
That's scattered.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think the sheriff did, I guess, request that Escamilla hold the 11 vehicles.
Right.
So we could work on these. I hate to add any more, I guess, conflict to the funding. If we can get the funding agreement from the state, then we'll wait for the 11 cars to come in, and then we can, instead of us purchasing them through county funds, and then might complicate things.
Right, well, it might, Judge, because they did mention and.
We don't have an agreement with them as
That's
of
right,
now.
and we have no commitment for the money as of yet either, Judge.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they say they're gonna do it, but saying and doing are two very different
Right.
things. So, that's something that the county does absolutely have to be leery of, because especially, if, while we expect it to be funded, there's always a chance that it might not, so, that's something that the county definitely has to be.
We want to secure the funds.
Absolutely.
Yes, so
Or at
those
least
vehicles,
each on.
we'll wait till the entire fleet has come in and see what we'll have to do then.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Judge.
All right.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Sheriff.
Item number 16 is to approve the purchase of HDAC CM02-21 diesel pump for the wastewater department through the Certificate of Obligation Series 2021 in the amount of $43,119.50.
And this was
Okay.
presented, Mr. Area?
Yes.
I'll
Okay.
second Commissioner Hudson's motion.
Motion by Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Mendoza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 17 is to approve a pay increase for Mark Chappa from $10 an hour to $11.02 an hour. This is slot number 22. Mr. Chappa has met all educational TCEQ requirements and has achieved a Class B water operator license. Funds to come from 80-600-227 license stipends.
Motion
We should move.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Garza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number,
Mr. Chapa, can send us, no one send us?
He's the one that's working inside us. He's from.
I didn't see you get up.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, your item's been approved, right about this.
Don't need to get up.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 18 is to collaborate with Daniel's Pharmacy for COVID-19 testing in Zapata County. No action, Commissioner, just Daniel gave us an update. Daniel's is also trying to get free testing kits in the Zapata, and there's a shortage of kits, so they would, many be doing it out of their pharmacy. That there has been some discussion about them using the community centers, which at that time, we would have to have an agreement with them for the use of the community center. But once they get the test and they want to use the community center, then we'll bring them back to court. But certainly they're free to do their testing at their pharmacy. Item number 19 is to review and approve invoice for jail repairs project for materials on hand. And Mr. Morning, sir.
Good morning. Morning. Morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'm Lubiana with Premier Engineering for the record.
Yes.
Good morning, good morning. This is just an invoice for materials on hand for the jail project. For an amount of $7,200. They already started construction and they're requesting some materials on hand.
Are we still in budget on that, or?
I believe so.
Okay, the company wants an advance for them to buy materials.
For materials, yes, that they already have.
Oh, they already have, okay,
Correct, yes,
okay.
materials on hand.
All right.
So, Mr. Gonzalez, have you seen any of this, or?
No, I would. like to see
Well, I
the
guess the
invoice.
sheriff can verify whether the materials have come into the jail. I mean, if the engineering company says their materials are on hand, I guess.
Yes, and I believe they started construction today.
Okay, all right.
I mean, the engineer's the one that does the verify and
Yeah.
to check all
That's
this.
not a
I
problem.
just want to make sure if we're in budget or not.
Okay, yeah.
Motion to approve it, so.
Motion by Commissioner Solis,
Second.
second by Commissioner Garza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Motion approved. Item number 20 is to review and consider funding assistance to Siesta Shores for materials cost increase. Commissioners, I was, I guess the manager, or the operations manager of Siesta Shores, Ms. Vera, reached out to me and said that, you know, that they did receive a substantial amount of grant funding for their project, which includes many repairs on their system, including a emergency line connection to Zapata County. They are running short about, what, $63,000?
I believe it's not, $65,000.
$65,000 that the grant did not cover. It was a cost overrun. Certainly, they say they don't have the funds available and are reaching out to the county for help. That's what it comes down to. If the county wants to help them finish that project with the extra $65,000, that would certainly have to come out of our fund balance. We have helped that district in the past. These, you know,
Judge, but on this 65,000, we're not gonna have any returns on.
no, it's a gift, Commissioners. It's an expense and an investment in infrastructure on our taxpayers from Siesta Shores. But it is a neighboring district. Certainly, we're not obligated to help them. But over the years, the county has helped various other districts. We've helped Highway 16. When San Ignacio was still in it, we would help them, Ramireño.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Elizondo to approve, second by Commissioner Solis, to help them with the cost overrun on their project, and this will have to come from our fund balance, $65,000. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Item number 21 is to discuss rental fees at Zapata County Community Centers. Commissioners, I put this item on the agenda. I think over the holiday weekends, there was, I think it's the San Ignacio Community Center, a dance, and I just want to see if there was, who reserved it, who paid it. because,
Yes, and I have the money in San Ignacio, and I'll bring it.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, so.
Was it just that one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, well, nothing has been deposited.
No, I have them, I think I have one or two checks in San Ignacio, usually Mario brings them in.
Okay,
But if you see the rentals in the treasurer's report, I think I've been the only one that has been bringing in money. Where's the treasurer's report? I think last month we brought in all the two rentals.
yes,
Yeah, no, but I'll bring it,
All
I'll
right.
to bring it.
thank you.
So no action?
No action. Item number 22 is to consider and award proposals for the daily operation of the Los Alamos Golf Course.
Judge, I would like to go with 22, 22, and 22 and 23, and 24 to accept the section.
Counselor, does this qualify as an executive session item? I mean,
Which one specifically?
On the 22. We received bidding, we went out for proposal, we got 2 bids. The bids have come in, they were made available to the commissioners to review over the weekend. And I just want to make sure that we do need to discuss this in open session, or closed session, does this qualify?
Obviously, any action has to be done in open session, Judge, the action. There's specific legal questions as to part of the propositions, or I'm sorry, as part of the, what was proposed by that judge, then it can be moved there should there be
Legal
specific
questions.
legal questions, which I don't know if their answer is.
I'm not sure of any legal questions, but maybe.
The only thing that I'm concerned is, one, specify how much money the county's gonna be paid, and the other one, no. That's my question.
Okay, well, I mean, that could potentially be a legal question because it's a contractual issue.
Uh-huh.
A contractual issue as to compensation for it, which if the court awarded it today,
Yeah.
would be of key importance, so.
Okay, so that's why I just wanna make sure that
Yeah.
whatever we do
No,
is
the
out in the open.
action has to be taken
Yes.
in open court. Absolutely.
And we did receive two proposals. And so
Well,
if we
Judge,
can discuss,
if we go, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, we can discuss in executive session
Yeah.
concerning those legal questions, that's fine. That was my only question.
Yeah, Judge, I reviewed the contract as you requested for the St. Jude Labs, and you're correct, Judge. It does give them an out to be able to directly bill all applicable payers. And beyond that, in the indemnification, it says that we must indemnify them for everything, including their billing practice.
Yeah,
which
so
does,
certainly I was not in agreement with that, caught my
Absolutely.
attention.
So-
But I did reach back to them when I saw those two, and those two bullets, and they just said, well, just cross them out, it's fine. I don't know if that's good enough.
Okay, well, we could cross them out. The problem is that, or not the problem, Monica was saying that they did what they did originally, told us they were supposed to do it for free. The fact that this is included is a little worrisome, just from the mere fact that what's your norm, if it's a one-page contract, and it's a one-page
I
contract,
certainly
it's pretty
noticed
clear.
that, yeah.
That's right, Judge. It's pretty clear that billing is a key part of their profit structure here, so, it is
Well, I think we need to
alarming.
have more conversations with them,
Yeah,
and have
possibly.
something in writing complete. So, I don't know if your office wants to reach out to them, you want me?
I don't have the contact information, but if your office provides it to me, I can discuss the concerns.
I think that would be, better, and then we'll go that route, but yeah, certainly that caught my attention on the contract.
Judge, actually, in the month of December, we brought our running party. Yeah, so I do bring my rental,
Okay.
sometimes they buy it, we bring it.
Okay. And item number 23 is personnel matters regarding the environmental department. So we will, I need a motion to enter into.
Make a motion to go to executive session.
First, or are we doing that in second also?
No, we don't need to do it.
Commissioner, did you say you wanted to handle the proclamation in executive session as well?
Well, no, the proclamation, the plan.
Not the proclamation, okay. I think it's
22 and 23.
Okay.
So motion to enter into executive session by Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Solis. We are now in executive session. The items will be heard under Texas Government Code Title 5, Subchapter D, Section 551.071. And that will be item number 25, to consider and award proposals for the daily operation of the Los Ebanos Golf Course. And item number 26 is personnel matters regarding environmental department, and that's requested under Government Code Title 5, Subchapter D, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney. We are now in executive session. Need a motion to return to regular session?
I'll make a motion to go to,
Motion by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Garza, to return to regular session. For the record, no action was taken in executive session. Item number 22, to consider and award proposals for the daily operation of the Los Ebanos Golf Course.
Judge, I make a motion to award, Andres Omar Gonzalez to operate Los Ebanos Golf Course for 1 year term with option to renew thereafter.
Motion by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Garza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Mr. Gonzalez here. Mr. Gonzalez, we look forward to working with your son in operations of the golf course. I think we would like to renew the contract on a yearly basis to see where we're at, both parties, and not have you, burden you with a contract for longer than that. And that's negotiable, but for the first year, I think a 1 year contract to see where we're at in a year, and then we can move forward, but,
Sure, appreciate it. I think it is important after we evaluate things after the first year. If everything turns out all right, then we evaluate things very carefully. Because I do think that it's important to spend some money there and time, and obviously for him too, obviously he would need a longer contract than that.
Yeah.
But I agree that the first year, we should look at.
Just to see where we both stand, you know.
And I'll get together with Commissioner Solis, to make sure that we meet the deadline at the end of the month, so that we can make sure that everything is in process, so that we can take it over as soon as this month is over, right? Because I think Mr. Ramirez is expecting.
yes, I have spoken with Mr. Ramirez as far as changing the meters on those buildings or pumps that the county will be responsible for. I guess you will be doing the same on the clubhouse
Yes,
and
I
those
did,
utilities.
yes, we did do I went and took pictures of all the meters so that we could, figure out which ones are gonna be changed over to the county, and then I do believe that the meter from the clubhouse and that, all that area is gonna come to Andres.
Right.
As far as other things that might be needed or might need to be changed, including, obviously the personnel and stuff, I do think that we need to go speak to them and get things ironed out to see how we're gonna deal with the personnel, as far as on the county side of it.
Yes, well, right, on the clubhouse, the commissioner has reached out to the groundskeeper, and then I think we're bringing him on, Commissioner, is that correct?
Yes.
To help us, he's got plenty of experience,
Yeah.
there, so, certainly we'll be responsible for those fairways and greens and
There is
try
something
to.
to consider, because remember that the county has days off, and sometimes y'all have long weekends, and, where y'all take off Fridays and Mondays, stuff like that. If you have him as the greenskeeper, right? Well, cutting greens is almost an everyday affair. Maybe you can do one day where you don't.
I
So,
believe he'll be on a part-time basis, correct?
For now,
there
yes.
has to be something where maybe, there's a person out there that when he has those days off, that he has to take the days off because the county's off, then somebody else will take the responsibility of cutting the greens.
Well, and that information, I think you need to relay to the
Sure.
commissioner and see what needs to make sure that.
Yeah,
the
we'll
ground-
get together to see what days is better, to have him there, but he will be operating, on a part-time basis for this year.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. So is he gonna be under like a contract, not as a county employee or contract?
Well, a county employee, but a part-time, position, so he will not be entitled to, the benefits, packages, insurances.
Sure.
We don't have a position in our current, year's budget, so it would take a budget amendment, an emergency for us to, so I think this, part-time position is how we can best address that, for now.
Okay. All right. Well, any other issues, we'll just deal with them as we go.
We want a long-term partnership. I mean, this is what, we want. We want, the less interaction between, your business and the government and the county as far as problems. I mean, it'll be a win-win for both of us. So we want, y'all to do well. I think, your proposal, by the way, I'm thankful that we had two very qualified and competent, individuals that wanted to take over. It was just a matter of, the time frame of what we can, agree on, but I want to thank Mr. Flores, the other, we had two very qualified individuals, come in, and, we appreciate that, and we're thankful for that, because, certainly, a golf course, operating a golf course is is something that requires specialized, knowledge, and we were very fortunate to have two individuals, that knew how to do that. And so we're here to work, and partner, with.
Well, we're thankful for the opportunity, and we'll work close to the county, and we'll keep you advised and informed as to what's going on and how we're progressing and where we're going.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, and congratulations.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 23, personnel matters regarding environmental department.
No action, Judge, on that one.
No action on item number 23. We have a resolution and proclamation to approve resolution authorizing the submission of a Tdhca Community Resiliency Program grant application public service activity. And this is for an emergency medical service vehicle for Zapata County Fire Department and the ambulance service. The resolution, so basically, Commissioner, this is the resiliency grant, and the resolution will hopefully let us acquire a new ambulance for the EMS. We have a bid of $161,962 that we will be submitting as part of the grant, and hopefully we'll have a good chance of getting.
Motion move.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Garza.
No, Garza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Solis. We are now adjourned.